Hey guys, Lizard Lee here for day 8 of Christmas ornaments. There's one I finished yesterday. Can you guys hear the trash man? He's driving by. Someone tries to steal my trash can again, they're gonna get their ass whooped. No, I'm kidding. I will bang really loudly on the window again though. Like seriously, don't touch my trash can. It's not yours, bro. It is like really cold today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. I don't work until 6, so I might be able to get 2 done. Because the sun goes down at 5, and it's easiest if I'm done by then. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe Pac-Man will tell me. Which one should I do? I'm so Lizzie needs her jacket on. It's too cold. Yeah. No. I've never been big on wearing hoodies. Like, my hair gets really staticky, and as soon as I put something like a hood over my hair, it's just like, and I shock everybody. Like electric shock, not like, oh my god, shock. Sorry. Maybe I'll do the bells next. Could do the poinsettia too. We'll see. I'll just go do them. You'll most likely find out either from the picture for the video or in my narration, because usually I try and tell you what ones I did. I have, is it 3 days off after today? I don't work again until Black Friday. Yeah, so I have 3 days off. So I'm going to do my best to just boom, 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 boom. And then, big project time. I scratched myself at work yesterday on my pinky. It's so sore. Like, it's tiny. But it hurts so much. Like, I wasn't even bleeding. When we were heading out, I was like, why does my pinky hurt? Ow! It wasn't cool. So, yeah. I'm gonna go stitch now. Alright, so I finished 2 actual patterns today, and then I made 8 finished patterns into ornaments. So those are FFOs. Okay, so I've been informed what these things stand for. FFO is the what is it, final finished project object? It just means that I am completely done with it. Like I don't remember what the acronyms are, but one of them was just like when I finished the stitching, but I haven't like cut it out and made it into an ornament yet. So when I see the words, I should recognize them now. I've had like 3 or 4 people tell me, which thank you, by the way. I'm glad people, who knew the definition informed me of it and weren't like, you're an idiot for not realizing, out of the 20 different definitions provided, which one it is. Oh man, it was just, I kept reading them and I was like, what do these things stand for? Like, I can infer what it means, but that doesn't mean I'm right. Okay, so, which one did I do first? I did the bells first. I don't think I made any corrections on this one. I think I followed the pattern pretty well. The second one, though, I guess they're lanterns? I'm not sure. That one I made some changes on, so hopefully... Well, actually, no, I think I did video myself talking about them, so it's not a complete loss if I forget when I get to that part of the video. I will say right now, though, this narration may not all be done at once. It may have to wait until I get home, because it's 4:51, and I want to leave before 5:30. And I think my video is like 50-ish minutes long, so, I might be able to swing it, I might not. It just depends. We'll see. Okay, what are the questions? I already said favorite designer. What is the most you have paid for a design, fabric, and floss? For a design, I'm not sure if that means like a kit or a book, because I've never paid for any of them online. Like I don't go on like eBay and pay, you know, like $5 to get the pattern for something, you know, with nothing else, because I'm pretty sure most of the time it's not proper, I guess. So for the books, I'm not, or even just the kits, I'm not sure which one I spent the most money on. I'm really, um, honestly, I think the most expensive one is probably the Wizard and the Dragon, because that one, I think I got it at like Walmart or something. It was expensive though. I think it was like initially $40, and then when Walmart was no longer, you know, when they were trying to get rid of all the cross stitching stuff, because anytime I go now, they only sell really small projects. So it was like 50% off or something, but you know, initially it was a lot more. Fabric, probably, I mean, I've never paid full price for like any fabric. I always have like 50% off or 25% off entire purchase or whatever, so I have no idea. And then floss, I think the metallics are the most expensive, or the shiny threads I've used a few times. They're both expensive, so nothing I can think of that was just like outrageous. So 5. What is the longest you've stitched on one project in one day? I think I've hit 9 hours more than once. I can't remember like a particular day for any of those. People ask me all the time, like, what was your average time for these? And it's like, I marked all the time I spent for the Pokemon Gen 1 cross stitch, but once I started, you know, filming it, I would just set all the speed to, you know, one time, like real time, mark down the time, say it in the video, and that was that. Like I don't remember any of them. And I'm too much of a lazy butt to go through all my videos and mark down each time and then average it using the number of days I spent stitching. Like, you guys are fully capable of doing that math. That's very easy. Day 1, if I spent 6 hours, write down 6. Day 2, if I spent 7, write down 7. And then yada, 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 until you get to like day 20, where I spent 6 hours. Add all those up, divide by the 20 days, and then you get the average across all 20 days. If you want to know, you can do the math. Or if you don't want to do the math, you can just tell me the numbers and I can do the math for you. I just don't want to go through 20 videos just to watch the last, like, 3 to 5 minutes of my videos for someone else. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be for me, but I don't even do that, so. Like I said, lazy butt. 6, do you have any FFOs where you have major mistakes in them, but only you would notice? I don't want to say, because it's so embarrassing. I do. The only one I can really think of is the Celestial Dragon from Bewitching Cross Stitch, which is the one I gave to my best friend for Christmas last year. 2 rows on his neck are missing. 2 whole rows. Like, you can't tell looking at it. But his neck is a little bit shorter than it's supposed to be. Oh god, now everyone knows. Oh. I caught it way too late, like, because I think I started with like the blues, and then it wasn't until I was doing like the hair on his neck or something. I did the majority of his neck, and then it was near the end where I was like, wait a minute, this isn't lining up right. Actually, God, it might have been the outlining. I don't know, but it took me way longer than it should have to realize that I skipped 2 whole rows. Oh. Okay, well, I got it off my chest. Now everyone knows. It's not a secret anymore. 7. What is your favorite project you've finished or most proud of? Well, again, just like with the Joan Elliott stuff, I think this is pretty obvious. I'm quite proud of the Pokemon Gen 1 cross stitch. I talk about it all the time because I enjoyed stitching it. I see it every single day when I come out of the bathroom because it's right there. I just, you know, like, all my friends, even ones who don't like Pokemon, think it's really cool. So, you know, it's awesome. Like, you don't have to be a fan of Pokemon to enjoy all the work that went into it, you know? 9. Do you have to make sure you finish a project, or can you just leave them for months at a time and do new starts? I have left projects for months at a time where I didn't work on them. Friedrich the Cat, there were several months in between where I didn't work on him, I believe. Or maybe it was Circle of Wolves? One of those two I stepped away from for a really long time. I didn't start anything new, but I did step away from them. Pokemon Gen 1, there were several times where there were, you know, quite a few number of months where I didn't work at all. But again, I didn't start any new projects. This is the first time, you know, when I was working on Chinese Phoenix, where I had 2 projects going at once. So if that gives you guys any indication, like normally I do 1 project and that is it. Like, I don't know if this is a good analogy, but maybe it'll just give you guys a better idea of how I am. I cannot read 2 books at once. I tried it once in, gosh, middle school, I want to say. It could have been high school, but I want to say it was middle school. I was reading the 3rd book in a trilogy. I don't remember much about it. I know there were goblins and a human girl. I don't remember if she was like kidnapped by the goblins or something, but she ended up having to, you know, get married to like the boss dude or whatever. And at first she was totally against it, but then she was like, you know what? He's actually a really good guy, you know. He's not evil. He's really nice. And it was a really good book. And that was the first one. I don't remember anything about the second one. And I remember absolutely nothing about the 3rd one, which is the one, it was the 3rd one that I was reading. And I took a break from it after a few chapters, and I started reading another book, which I also remember nothing about. And I did never finish either of them because I kept getting them confused. Like details from that first book, I would start to think was in the second one. And so the stories were making absolutely no sense. I can't do like 2 things like that at once. Like I can read 2 different textbooks at once because, you know, they're completely different. One will be about accounting and one will be about computers. But these ones, they were both like fantasy based. Like only the one was about goblins, but the other one was like vampires or something. So, you know, like it wasn't the same, but they were both fantasy based. And then I was just reading them for pleasure. So like I wasn't being forced to be able to read them, you know, around the same time. So I've never done it since, and I never will, because I hate it. Like I want to know how that first book ends, you know, so I'll spend the second book just like, well, what happens in the next chapter of the other book? Like, what? No, I want to finish that other book first, and then I'll come back to this one. So that's how I am. Like, you will never see me reading 2 different books ever. I will always read one, finish it, and then read the other. Normally, if I put a book away because I didn't finish it, I have no intentions of ever finishing it. Like, for instance, I loved The Hobbit. I actually took a class on Tolkien, and I will say my professor was taught by someone who's taught by him, and Tolkien himself pronounced his name Tolkien. So that's how I pronounce it. I don't remember how other people pronounce it, but that's how he said it, so that's how I say it. So get over yourself if you are about to start hating on me for saying it weird. Anyways, and I loved The Hobbit. I loved it so much. It was a really good book. I would love to read it again. It was good. And I actually only saw the first 2 Hobbit movies, and then I was super pissed because I was like, are you kidding me? This should have been 1, 2 movies max, because the book was so short. But they read like the Silmarillion or whatever it's called, I don't know, to make, you know, all these extra scenes that were completely irrelevant because they weren't put in the book. Okay? If this information is at the back of the book, it's not necessary. You don't have to bloat everything, alright? Ugh. Anyways, so I still haven't seen the 3rd one, and the only way I'm going to see it is if I see it for free. I'm not going to pay for it. I didn't pay for the first 2. So, like, I love that book. It really annoys me that they were like, oh, let's make it into 3 movies like we did with Lord of the Rings. Anyways, back on topic. I read the first 50 pages of Fellowship of the Ring and nothing else. I didn't read anything else for the Lord of the Rings books. It was incredibly boring. Nothing freaking happened. Okay, they were still in the freaking, the Hobbit's place. Like, they hadn't freaking left. They were still there. Nothing had happened. Okay? Like, I enjoyed the movies, and I know that, for 3 whole movies, the majority of what they did was just walk. But at least they were walking, okay? They weren't staying in the Shire. That's what it's called. Sorry, I couldn't remember earlier. They weren't staying in the Shire forever. And I will say, actually, one thing I did enjoy in the book was Frodo was actually like 40 to 60 years old. He was an old dude. He wasn't, Elijah Woods, who was like 20s or 30s, So, I mean, I get, they want to make sure everybody can relate because, all the young people are like, oh yeah, he's my age. And all the older people are, oh yes, I was once his age. I kind of wish they had kept it that because that would have been really interesting. But anyways, they didn't, and they made him way younger. But like stuff happened in the movies, and nothing was happening in the book. It was the most boring freaking thing ever. So I didn't read it. I copied down the teacher's notes for everything, like word for word, and that's how I passed all the quizzes and exams, because I couldn't read it. I could not finish it, because I was like, that's one of my philosophies on books. If you're not engaged within the first 50 pages, it's clearly not for you. Like, if it takes more than 50 pages for you to want to read a book, that's not your fault. Like, either the author just sucks, or their writing does not appeal to you, and it never will. The next 600 pages won't appeal to you if the verse 50 didn't. So, that's the only way I would not finish a book, because I just, could not stand it. It was so boring. And it was incredibly disappointing for me, because I enjoyed the movies, and I loved The Hobbit. So I was like, yeah, these books are going to be great. And I will say my favorite part, probably half the kids in that class had already read the book, and they read, the Silmarillion and all those other, crazy books that only the really big fans of him read. And anytime I was like, yeah, I can't get past the first 50 pages. This book is so boring. They're like, yeah, it starts off really slow. The start's really, it's not good. And it's like, yeah, okay. When diehard fans agree with me that it's boring as heck, that's not so good. Like, yeah, no. You can't really back it up when you agree with me that it sucks. Like, just, so yeah. I will never read those books. I can't. They're too freaking boring. Or, like the first one. Well, actually, I think originally it was all one book, and then like his publishers or something like that forced him to change it. And when they titled the second book, the 2 towers, everyone was like, what 2 towers? There are more than 2. So which 2 are they specifying? So that was a really fun discussion in class, because we were all like, maybe these 2? And they're like, well, no, because this one's more related with this one, and this one with this one, but and this one and this one. So just like, it didn't work. It was great. Where was I? 10. What is your most hated type of stitch? Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the 3/4 stitch, just because, like if I start with, excuse me, if I start with the one that goes the whole way across, I have to move it aside so I can do that single 1/4 stitch. And that's always annoying. If I can start with the 1/4 stitch, it's usually not too bad, but later on, if you go back and in a different color, you complete that 4th stitch on the other side, brings the problem right back. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the 3/4 stitch. They can really annoy me. Next group. 1. How do you get into the mood to cross stitch? I'm almost always in the mood to cross stitch. Like, I actually not almost. I always am. The only time I ever reach a point where I don't feel like cross stitching is if I've been stitching for a while and, you know, like my thumb hurts or I'm really hungry or something. So, you know, I'll take a break. And then after that break, I'm back in the mood to stitch again. So I don't know, kind of. I don't know. I just do. Like, how do you get into the mood to read a book? By reading the summary and looking at the cover. Okay, so yeah, actually I guess that is important. I often look at the completed picture that comes with the project. Actually, I always do. I'm constantly doing that, and I'm constantly looking at the cover of a book while I'm reading. So, talking about the covers of books, I don't know how many of you guys do this, but like if there are people on the cover, do you read the description in the book and then look on the cover to see if it actually goes with the author's description or not? Because I do that all the time. And I have to say, there's only been one book that I can think of where the picture follows the book's description perfectly. Oh, what was it called? I bought it on Amazon, so I might be able to pull it up on here and look. Because it was perfect. I have literally never seen a cover that followed details exactly, except for this one. And I swear, I can find it. I know I can. I just gotta find it. Bought it like 2 years ago, I think. Let me see. The cover is gorgeous, and it's a really good read. It's action, fantasy, adventure, and it does have romance, so if you guys give me crap for it, whatever, grow up. Romance and love, it's in everyone's lives, alright? So, whatever. Maybe I bought it even earlier than I thought. Crazy Stupid Love, that was a good movie. I'm so glad I bought it. Love that movie. So good. So good. Now, of course, because I'm saying this, everyone's going to be like, no, Liz, this one follows it perfectly too. And I'm going to be like, but I haven't read that book, so that doesn't count for me. I'm saying that now. These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman. Amikaufman. It is perfect. It looks exactly like she describes them. It's spectacular. And it's a good book, so yeah. So I get in the mood to cross stitch by looking at their completed piece, and if I'm planning on giving it to someone, imagining their faces when I give it to them and how much they love it. Okay, 2. How do you prepare to stitch? I gather all the supplies. Like, if it doesn't come in a kit, you know, I pull out the threads I need, I get the fabric I need, I put it into the frame, set it up in the stand, and then I go. If it's in a kit, you know, I organize all of them and I get everything ready. So, yeah, you know, pretty simple. 3, how do you motivate yourself to get stitching on a bothersome project? I can't really think of a project I've ever done that I'd, like, considered a bother. Yeah, I mean, the last time I had a project that I was really frustrated with was Oscar the Grouch, and I threw him away because I was a little child who didn't know that I could fix it later in life. I will never forgive myself for that. How silly am I? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't really think I've done a bothersome one that I can't really think of any. 4, what is your favorite time to stitch? The early mornings, because the sun is just like perfectly bright and it lights everything up so I can see in order to stitch. Because once the sun goes down, it gets really hard. Or once it's still, like, even just starting to go down, it gets so difficult. Ooh, I'm getting close to finishing this one, so yeah, right there. That's when I was like, I want to add this on the bottom. And I thought I was done after this, but I wasn't. I missed a blue star to the left, so you're going to see that in a bit. And then I think I'm going to have to go to work and finish my narration when I get home, which sucks, but I don't want to be late to work, so And there's the star. So I'm about to finish this. Enjoy me talking, yay! Okay, so that's all the stitching I'm going to get done today. I did the bell, and it took me 1 hour and 35 minutes. And the ornaments took 1 hour and 18. In case I forget to say it on the narration, that outlining I did on the bottom of the ornament after I like pointed at it in the video, I added on because it looked weird not outlined. Like the rest of it was, so it was weird. So yeah, I'm going to be making 8 ornaments, which is going to be super fun. It was kind of sarcastic, kind of not. I can't decide yet. Yeah, so I got the cardboard. Obviously I have the patterns. And I still have some more felt, so let's do this. Okay, I just got back from work. I had been planning on continuing with the questions, but I had an experience today. So I had a woman come up. It was, I want to say like the 3rd customer. When I was at the cash register, I mean. She had 2 wreaths, one of those big bags that, you know, usually you buy it and then you bring it back to the store again and again and again, so you don't have to use plastic bags. I mean, it was big. It was like the size of probably 2 male adult torsos. Like, you could fit a kid in there. Don't put a kid in there, but you could fit one in there. So, you know, it was a really big bag. And it's one of those ones that it's pretty flimsy, but it has designs on the outside that are, you know, like plastic, so they're kind of rough. And then it has those massive handles. Don't remember what she had a couple other like Christmassy items, but I rang up one of the wreaths first, and then there was a tag hooked onto it. It was just like wrapped around a branch, you know, like numerous times. And she asked me if I could take it off for her, and I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, I was getting it off slowly but surely because it was caught on like everything, so it was taking forever. The cashier next to me leaned over and she was like, not your job. Or, you know, like it kind of like faded in. So I was just like, huh? And she was like, that's not your job. And I was like, well, oh. And she's like, yeah, you're actually not supposed to do that. And the woman was like, oh, well, you know, it's a gift for a friend. And so the cashier was like, you know, if you do that and then something happens to it, you know, you'll get in trouble. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I just, you know, I let it go, and I started leaning over to grab one of the big bags because the wreath was way too small, or way too big, sorry, for the small bags. And she huffed, went whatever, and threw the bag at my face. So, like, the bag itself hit my chest, but the handles whipped me in the chin, the nose, and the glasses, and then she just booked it out of there. So I slowly stood up, and I was just kind of in shock for a little because I was like, you know, a human being just threw something at me. Like, you know, I understand getting angry, but throwing something at someone? Like, what? No. And once I got over it, I was like, wow, I don't think I deserved that. And the customer that was behind her was like, yeah, no, you didn't deserve that. And I was like, okay, you know, it's a good thing that another customer agrees with me. And then the cashier turned to me. She was like, I'm sorry. I just, you know, I didn't want you to get in trouble. And I was like, oh, you don't have to apologize to me. You're not the one who threw something at me. And she, you know, she kept apologizing. And I was like, no, you know, like, you know, I'm not mad at you. She got angry because, I don't know, she's a lazy motherfucker and she has anger problems. And I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, seriously, the only people I can think of that have ever thrown things at me are my siblings. And usually that was just in, like, good fun or when we were really young and, you know, it didn't hurt. I mean, the handle caught me in the face. You know, like, it didn't hurt, but, I mean, it stung for a little while. So I was just like, anger issues, lady? What the hell? Oh my God. Some people, dude, And I mean, that guy who said it wasn't my fault, he actually ended up being my next customer after I moved all of her crap off of my desk, or, you know, the table, whatever you want to call it. And because, she was too lazy to put it away herself like a nice person, but whatever. She threw something in my face. I didn't expect her to. But he came over, he was like, I promise I'm going to be way nicer than her. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, even he thought she overreacted. He was just like, seriously? I mean, like, if I'd had a pair of scissors, I mean, that's what the cashier was saying. She was like, if you had a pair of scissors, you could give them to the customer and she could cut them off herself. But I'm not supposed to do it because, and it makes sense, like either, there's a potential that I could break it or that, the customer takes it home, they break it, and then they come back and claim I'm the one who did it. And it was a wreath, so obviously I could have, broken off the branch or just ripped out a bunch of the needles or whatever. But it was just like, really? Like, seriously, you're gonna overreact over a dang tag? Really? Like, it was really uncalled for. I can't believe she threw something at my face. Like, really? How much of a douchebag do you have to be to throw something at someone's face? Like, that's like the worst place to throw something at someone because it's like the most breakable part of you. Like, that sounds silly, but I mean, it's so easy to break your nose, and then obviously your brain is up there. Like, and then I think that's where you have the most holes. You've got your mouth, your two nostrils, your eyes, your ears. So that's 7 right there. So, like, she threw it at my face. Oh my God. Like, I almost started crying because I was just like, the heck did I do to deserve that? Like, really? But I didn't. I'm really happy to say I didn't. What bothered me almost as much as that was the other cashier. She was like, yeah, you're going to have to get used to that because especially for Black Friday, people are just not really nice. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was just like, I mean, I was really nice to her. I was like, how are you? And she said she was good. So, like, what the hell did I do besides follow company policy? Like, really? God. And then again, I had that woman who got mad at me because I couldn't give her 2 coupons. And it's because company policy only allows you to use 1. But apparently I'm in control of that, you guys. Oh my God. I can almost guarantee you that tonight I'm going to dream about her coming back a second time, throwing something at me, and then me just like losing it. Being like, I swear to God, lady, if you throw something at me one more time, I'm gonna shove this up your ass. Like, yeah, obviously I would never say that in the real world, but like in my dreams, I am evil. Like, I am so mean to people if they're not nice to me. Like, if yours is an evil scale of 1 out of 10, mine goes up to like 5 or higher. Like, I retaliate very angrily in my dreams. Maybe that's the only way I'm able to stay nice as a person when I'm awake, because I'm mean in my dreams. I get it all out then. I have no idea. I have my dinner though. It is 11:18. I'm hungry and I'm exhausted. And that customer was really, really mean. And I was just like, she threw it at my face. Like, I'm glad I wasn't one of the wreaths though, because I mean, the ends of those are kind of pointy, and my skin bruises easily, and it breaks easily. And if that thing had made me start to bleed, oh, hell no! I'm getting close to the end. But, yeah. Ugh. Hopefully I'm in a good mood tomorrow, and that, this doesn't, like, affect my dreams so much that I'm just kind of in a sad mood. So, I mean, right now, I definitely don't feel up to beginning a new big project. So, I know I said before that I was definitely going to start it tomorrow. I may not. I may continue doing more Christmas ornaments. Just so, like, I have those breaks in between when I finish one. So, sorry. Hopefully, it'll all be great and I'll want to do a big project, but You'll know at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what that time is for you, but yeah. I can't believe Landlady did that. Seriously, some people, so rude, so mean. Coming up to the end, so I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna finish eating, actually. Okie dokie. 8 more done. So it means I'm at what? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Woo! Yeah, that's all I'm gonna get done for tonight. Okay, that is the end of day 8 for Christmas ornaments. I have completed the perfect number for the family members I have that these are going to be going with, like my mom and my sister on their road trip. So tomorrow I'm going to finally start my next big project. Everyone can chill now and stop asking when I'm going to start my next one. But I'm going to continue making these on days when I work. So, just so you know, the Christmas ornaments date is not the end of them. It's just the end for now. Yeah. Woohoo! Now the hardest part is going to be figuring out who I want each of them to go to. Because right now the only ones I know for sure are these two. Otherwise, I don't know. Although I will say, my mom really liked this one. So, maybe on a slow day, maybe I could do another one. I don't know. We'll see. So, I already said how long it took me to do each of them. I didn't even think to check the time for how long it took me to make these into ornaments. I think it was like an hour and a half-ish. I'm not sure. Oh well. Tessa's sleeping, so she won't be joining me, but subscribe, share, like, comment, other jazz. And I'll see you in the next video where I start my next big project. Yay!